Right, so let's start with our first flow. So we've opened up VIP, and you should see down the left hand side, if you click on the designer, you should see down the bottom, you should see various leaves that you can open up with the actions that we're going to be using inside the flowchart. Now before we start, it's probably just worth you noting, if you go to Tools and click Manage, you will see all of the available options. Obviously this changes from release to release, and you can see I've got a pretty skinny set of options here, and if you just click on one of these, let's just click on something like mobile and click save, you'll see that the mobile tab then appears. So sometimes it's better just to clear them away to make sure you just have a smaller set of actions to deal with. So that's the left hand side, and in the middle we've just got the start page, and the first thing we're going to do is to just do file new, and we've got a new flow. Now also in Tools you'll see Open App Data, which is sometimes where the log files go, or Open Program Data, and that's going to take you straight into, in this case, the Program Data VIP, and in there you'll see some examples, and that's where all of these examples live. So you can get to that quite easily. In fact, what we're going to do is we're going to build up the Hello World actually from scratch in this particular example. So I've opened a new flow. I'm going to click on File, Save As. I'm going to go to my Program Data, and let's just go to VIP, Examples, Hello World. I'm just going to overwrite this. We're going to build it up again from scratch using the video. So let's just click Save. Do you want to replace it? Yes, we do. So now we've got an empty palette. And slowly, as you go through the videos, you'll pick up all the various different parts of how to use VIP itself. So the first thing we're going to do is just a very simple common. We're just going to do a log. So we're just going to drop a log onto the palette. Now you'll see a little thing up there which says flowchart flow does not have a start node, and then we're just going to, if you just hover over that and drag that down, we've now actually created a little flowchart. If you click on this, you'll see there's two tabs here, properties and logs, and the properties is the one that we care about. And in message to log, we're just going to type quote, let's put another one in there for you, and hello world, like so. And if we click back on the canvas, you'll see we've got hello world like so. I could change the description of it as well, rather than just having log activity. So I could just say log hello, and copy that, and copy this into here like so. And that just changes the name of the object on the palette. And we've got that. Also, anywhere where you see the triple dots, you can just click on that, and then opens up a slightly bigger box. Sometimes it's a little difficult to work on the right hand side, and you can actually kind of expand that box like so. So now we've got hello log hello hello, and now we're going to just go to actions, and we're just going to click on execute. Now what you'll see down the right hand side is hello world. And that's pretty much how you would be running it normally with an execute, but quite often you might want to sort of debug it and see what it's actually up to. And then if you click on actions debug, you will get the hello world, but what it will do is it will also tell you which of the blocks it's passing through as it's passing through the logic of your flow. So now we have a basic flow up and running. Now we're going to move into variables, and if I click on variables, just click in here, and you'll see create variable. It'll default to variable 1, but we're just going to create something called var date. I'm going to leave it as a type of string for the moment, just so you've got something there. And the next thing we're going to do is to create an assign statement. So we're going to go off and have a quick look over here, and we're just going to drag an assign, and then again we're going to add this onto here. I'm just going to switch to the properties tab. So we've got a from and a to, and I'm just going to type in here var. If you do control space, it will actually fill it in. In this case there's only one variable which starts with var date, so it's filled it in. And now we've got to get into a VB expression to put on the other side. Now we could type it in here, but actually, as I said before, you have a little bit more room if you click in here. Now what we could do is we just start typing in date like so. You'll see it's changed color, and there's a little Intellisense ability in here which helps you define using in effect the Visual Basic syntax. If you do a control and space, it will allow you to see what starts with date, and there's the little red mark means there's actually more than one. So we're just going to click on the date, but actually what I'm also interested, if I do a dot now, you'll see there are other things that we could do with the date, and what I'm going to do now is just go down and you'll see now, and that's created .now, which means with date .now. Now what you could do is actually go in and just have a look at the Microsoft VB.NET docs.NET Visual Basic Language reference, and this is pretty much the syntax that we're supporting. You need to know a little bit of VB.NET, but with the Intellisense you should be up and running pretty quickly. So let's go back to VIP. Date.now, if we just click on OK, now you'll see that you've got a little red marker here, which means this one is a problem, and it will also say the flow itself has a problem. Now that's saying it's a validation error, and this is going to tell us cannot assign from type system.datetime to system string in assign activity. And the reason for that is that we're actually creating on the right hand side a date, and over here we've got something which is a string. So if we just come over here, now what I could also do is just come here and click dot, and what I do kind of know what I'm doing here, so I could just scroll down, or I could just type in a TO, and I'm going to just do just go down a bit and find string. Oops, do that one more time. String, and that's basically just going to convert that to a string like that, and that's gone away. So now we've lost that, and now what we can do is just add in another log like so, and we'll just again tidy that up to there. And on this lag activity we're going to say quote the date is space, and let's just click on the triple dots again so we can see what's going on. And what you're going to need to do is, if you're ever concatenating things, you just need to put an ampersand in. Again, I'm just going to put var. It's detected that we're inside some VBase script, and it's also picked up var date as being a potential for us to type in, so you can sort of shortcut this, and the date is var date. And then let's just go off and do actions execute, and you can see hello world, the date is 02 10 27 18 22 24, which is the time. So now that's fine, that's just showing us how we're starting to use variables. If you click on the drop down, you'll see that there's lots and lots of different variable types available. The most common ones, which are integers, strings, and then lists of strings, and then data tables if you start getting into things like spreadsheets and databases, and arrays of types. But you could also go down here and click on browse for types, and then pretty much everything is available. If you want to search for date time, you'll see that there's quite a lot of variable types available, but again that's slightly more advanced, but you can worry about that another day. So let's just go in here, and what we're now going to do is just do var year. We need to find out the year. Now this one is going to come back as an integer, so we're going to pick integer. Now if I click on the variables, that's just going to drop away. And now the next thing we're going to do is another assign. I'm just going to drop a sign in here, just join that up, and I need to do var year, again var and control space, and I could just do year, pick that out, go back to properties, and let's just click on this, and now we're going to be going to again date dot. Now if I just click on the dot, what we're looking for is for today. Oops, do that one more time. Today dot, and what we've got now is a list of the various different things that are available, and again we have year here like so, and we're good to go. So we've got date today.year. So basically you can in effect just work your way through the date functions we're now setting var year. And now what we're going to do is start putting in a little bit of logic here. So let's just come in, and we're going to go to some of our, so you'll see flowchart, which is the most common types of things you're going to want to do, but then let's go off and have a look at conditions and loops. And we're going to put a simple decision in here like so. I'm just going to join it up, and what I'm going to do now is I've actually got to put a decision in here. I'm going to give it a name, which is currently decision, and I'm just going to say just is leap year. Okay, so now I need to come in and create a criteria in here, And again, we're going to, now in this case, we're actually going to try and create something which has to be true or false, because this is the two outputs of the decision are true or false. If we just come into date and dot, and let's just go down and have a look at is leap year, and just press enter. Now this one needs an input, so if I'm going to have to put a bracket around this, and I'm going to put a bracket like so, and it will fill that in for you, and then I'm just going to pick up my var year like so. Now that's fine. So in effect what I've done now is I've said date.isLeapYear, and I'm using the variable, and I now need to use equals, and I need true. Okay, and that's then basically pulled that in like so. So date.isLeapYear, var year is a parameter which is in brackets, and click OK, and that's going to drive me down this way. And then what I'm now going to do is just put again, go back to my common. I'm just going to put a log over here. I'm just going to say is leap year like so. I'm going to join that up on the true. So you'll see as you hover over it, you'll see true like so. Look, I should just attach on like so. Now I'm going to just do Control C and Control V and pop this over to here, and then I'm going to pop that onto there, and I'm just going to change is leap year, and I'm just going to say isn't leap year. Okay, so now I've got a little bit of logic in. I've got my var year, which I've used date today.year, and I've got, if you hover over it, you will see date is leap year, var year. If you do a right click, you can show all conditions as well, and that will just, if you've got quite a lot of conditions, it will just display them on the screen. If I just do actions execute now, so hello world, and it isn't a leap year. Okay, so now we've gone from doing a bit of logging, we've done some variables, we've got a condition in, we've started to write a few little basic visual basic expressions. Now I'm going to go off and let's do something. I'm actually going to do something like write to a file here. So if we just go off to flowchart, and you'll see here file system, and what I want to do is do write text to file. So I'm just going to drop that down. Now I can just come in here, drop that over there like so, and ditto over this one here, just drop this like so. And I've got write text to file. Again, there's nothing in it, so it needs to kind of understand what's going on. So I'm going to click properties, and here you'll see we've got some content. So we're going to use file path. Now, content is what's going to go into the file, and the path is the name of the file. Now you could put this in to be an explicit name, but I'm just going to put temp.txt in there like so. And that's going to be writing to the temp.txt file, but I've still got to tell it what content I want to put in. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to use my var date like so, which is the data that I had defined in a variable for, which is actually a string. And now what we can do is just actions execute, and that's now written down here. If I just do actions debug, you'll see that it's done write text to file as well. So let's go and have a look to see what's gone into the file. So you'll see here we've got a file called temp.txt. I'll just double click on that, and you can see it's put the data in like so. Now let's just pop back into VIP and try and just play around a little bit with some of the stuff that's going to go in here. So we've got var date, and then let's put something like and the whoops, just got to put that in quotes, is, and put an ampersand. Now we've got var year here like so, we'll just enter that. So that will come out. Now as the var year is an integer, it's best to put a .toString on it just to make sure that it's going to come out like so, and that's going to pop it out. And let's click on OK. Now what we might want to do is actually say, well, I want to put this on another line. So what I'm going to have to do is use a new line character. So if you press enter, that's not going to make any difference. It actually needs a physical character. So what I'm going to do is just type environment, and you just click on environment, put a dot, and then it's going to go down and look for the different types of things I can look for, and one of them is a thing called new line. Now again, that is a variable, but and you still see I've got the dots over here, like the red error mark. So it's telling me that I need to put an ampersand, like so. I click on here, just to give it a space, and then we're good to go. Now if I just do actions execute and pop back over to here, and you'll see now that we've got the date, and we've actually got a carriage return line feed has now been forced in. The year is now 2017. So that's basically a very simple hello world type of activity. It's got a little bit of Visual Basic in. You've started to use some variables. What you'll also see, and on the left hand side, is obviously got your outline. Now this is another way of looking at the flow. So you can see here that we've kind of got it in a slightly different way. So you can click on is leap year, and that's going to pop you there. Or if you just say log hello, that's going to take you to that part of the flow. And this can be quite useful when you're kind of have very complex flow, or you've embedded flows inside other flows. Anyway, congratulations, you've now created your first Hello World VIP flow.